This week on Mocs News, we look at the events for Women's History Month. We take a look at the talent of UTC students. And we take a look at what's in the current edition of The Echo. I'm Heidi Brightman. Your news starts now. Spring break is here, but we've still had a busy week on campus. We start with our Olivia Brown, who is covering Women's History Month.
Thanks, guys. March is Women's History Month, and UTC is celebrating with different events all throughout the month. Here's a look at Thursday's celebration of International Women's Day. The Women's Center drew crowds for a screening of the movie Patsy Mink Ahead of the Majority. Students were treated to free popcorn and candy as students learned about Patsy Mink, the first woman of color elected to Congress. Moviegoer Odessia Rogers said that she enjoyed the movie and the message that it gives to women about breaking barriers.
Films like this just remind us of our strength and sort of can motivate us when when other people and other institutions tell us that we're actually not that powerful and that we're not that important.
The Women's Center hosts a multitude of events throughout the month of March, and you can stay up to date on many of them through mocsnews.com. This has been Olivia Brown reporting for Mocs News. Back to you guys.
I'm Brandon Robinson with Mocs News. UTC's 4th annual photo night was held in Darthick Hall on Wednesday night. Photo night is a special night dedicated to celebrating the work of students, Professor Billy Weeks, and the Speakers Weeks invites. Vika Schweer, a current photojournalism student, explained what the night was about.
Every semester, Photojournalism 2 puts on photo night at the university. This year we're doing it at Darthick Hall on campus. We have 4 amazing speakers that are happening tonight. Cody Schmelter, Austin Freeman, Crystal Case, and Mark Johnson. And every year they just we have a couple of speakers come out, and it really gets not only photojournalism but just a lot of different students from different majors to kind of see what it's like to be a photojournalist on the job.
Photo Night emphasizes the importance of photojournalism and helps give an explanation on the career. Weeks invited 4 professional journalists, including Cody Schmelter, who had this to say.
I think with Billy and with Mark, I know personally because I was in his classes, and I'm sure the other people are the same way, that if you love what you do and you really have a passion for it, you can make it happen as a career. So I think loving what you do is really, really important. That's not just from photojournalism. If you're passionate about what you do, you don't go to work.
In the words of Cody Schmelter, do what you love. Back to you guys.
Blood and Nuka came back to UTC for one last round of donations before the semester ends. They have set up shop in the Tennessee room and offer free snacks to anyone who plans to donate blood, including free chicken minis from Chick-fil-A. The blood will go to the organization's blood bank and remain in proper storage until someone needs the blood. While this is the last event for the semester, they plan to come back for the fall.
People gathered outside Chattanooga City Hall for a peaceful protest. This past Saturday, Chattanoogans and others gathered to protest about the changes in DACA. The protest was organized by UTC freshman Alondra Gomez, who was a DACA recipient. The march was started to encourage U.S. Representative Chuck Fleischman to vote to keep the Dreamers in the U.S. Around 200 people showed up to support the march and to show unity within the community of Chattanooga.
The Echo is UTC's student-run newspaper. It comes out every 2 weeks. We caught up with Chris King, editor-in-chief, to find out what's in the current issue.
So this current edition of the Echo, we cover the DACA March for a Dream Act. That's covering the march that actually happened on Saturday for the DACA situation here on campus and in the Chattanooga community. We also have a student at UTC running for the Hamilton County School Board. So we touched base with him, did a profile on him, kind of found out his ideas for the school board itself. And we also touched on SGA's town hall meeting. They reflected on the 15 and 4 model, which is the new tuition model that is going to be in place actually in this upcoming fall. And then for sports, We covered men's and women's basketball who were in the SoCon tournament this past weekend. The women actually lost in the first round, which is the first time since 2012 that they didn't make the NCAA tournament. So that's the first time in 5 years. And then the men lost in the second round of the SoCon tournament. And then we also covered the wrestling team who was in the SoCon tournament also, who they had 3 individual wrestlers win SoCon titles. So that was pretty cool. And then in our feature section, we touched on a story on houseplants on campus, students who have houseplants in their dorms. We also touched on a new popsicle store over in North Shore. And then to wrap it up, our opinion section, we kind of just touched on different parts of spring break, what to take on spring break, where students are going for spring break, and we had a story about the perfect spring break bod. So that's what was in the Echo this week.
It's been hot and it's been cold, it's been yes and it's been no. So let's go over to Kenyelle with weather. Let's go.
This week, you can expect it to get pretty chilly. Hopefully, you got plans to go south for spring break. If not, you can expect a low of 43 tonight and a high of 60 Saturday. And Sunday, there's a slight chance for showers with lows of 47 and 37, respectively. Monday through Wednesday, it looks like it's going to be cloudy with the highs in the 50s and lows at around 30 degrees. By Friday, it will be warming up through with a high of 66 and a low of 43. That's it for weather. Back to you guys.
Members of UTC's Greek community competed in the annual Spring Greek Show. Here are the winners. This year, the Greeks charged admission to raise money for a worthy cause. Organizers say they raised $5,400 for the Salvation Army. A leader in the Department of UTC Student Development is leaving for a position at Southern Mississippi. Dee Anderson will serve as Vice President of Student Affairs at Southern Miss. Anderson has been Associate Vice Chancellor of Student Development. She recently served as Interim Vice Chancellor for that department. UTC has had a busy week in sports, and our Jolie Poole has it all covered in this week's sports section.
Thank you. We have all the Chattanooga highlights from the 3 Southern Conference tournaments, all right here in this week's sports. Three's a crowd. UTC's wrestling team won 3 individual events in the SoCon Championship. Seniors Bryce Carr, Scotty Boykin, and junior Alonzo Allen won in their respective events. The team earned 2nd place as a team in the conference championship in Charleston, South Carolina. Now the 3 Mocs are heading to Cleveland for the NCAA championship, March 15th through 17th. Go Mocs! And in other SoCon tournament news, men's and women's basketball finished their season in Asheville. Our Joseph Dykes has more. Joseph?
Thanks, Jolie. Both basketball seasons came to an end during the SoCon tournament. The number 3 seeded women's team had a very short stay in Asheville, as they fell to the 6th seed UNCG in the first round. Despite being beset by injuries and absences to key players, the short-handed Mocs battled throughout the game, eventually losing in double overtime 70-66. Freshman guard Brooke Burns came out of nowhere and scored 33 points while playing all 50 minutes. On the other side, the men's team had a slightly more successful time in North Carolina. The 10-seeded Mocs upset 7-seeded Samford Bulldog behind a dominant effort by McKenday London, who scored 25 points and grabbed 14 rebounds, along with a vicious dunk. However, the Mocs advanced no further after that, falling to ETSU in the next round. But even though basketball season's over, Mocs fans can still cheer for softball. And with that, we send our coverage over to our expert, Abby Walker.
Thank you, Joseph. We are here at Frost Stadium where the Mocs lost to Belmont Wednesday night in a thrilling game, 0-3.
Center fielder number 1, Lou Coppinger.
After a weekend in Mississippi, the Mocs are back home to face the Belmont Bruins. The game was held scoreless until the third inning when Belmont got a run across the plate on a single to shortstop. The next few innings were no better for the Mocs when Belmont got a solo home run and then scored off an error involving Chattanooga dugout interference. UTC freshman pitcher Allison Swinford gave up only 3 hits and 3 walks on the night, helping her team stay solid on the field. However, the Mocs could not get the timely hits they needed and finished the game scoreless. It will be weeks before the Mocs return home, where they will face Mercer in their SoCon season opening game March 24th. I'm Abby Walker reporting from Frost Stadium. Back to you.
Speaking of winners, congratulations to our Mocs News anchor Heidi Brightman for winning her poem, My Latino Lover. And don't forget, Chattanooga Hooligans, the Chattanooga Football Club will host Nashville FC this Saturday at Finley Stadium beginning at 7 p.m. Look for our coverage in next week's broadcast. That will do it for this edition of Mocs News. Back to you.
Send Silence Packing. After spring break, UTC will be setting up Send Silence Packing, hosted by the Counseling Center at UTC. The event is to raise awareness about college suicide. Staffers place backpacks around campus with stories about people who have committed suicide. The event will be March 22nd, so don't be afraid to stop by and show your support. East Martin Luther King Boulevard will be experiencing some major changes coming up in the next week. Chattanooga Department of Transportation will be working to improve the quality as well as safety of the road conditions. The project details included repaving the streets of downtown areas ending at Central Avenue, repairing overall roadway conditions, and a reconfiguration of the 4 to 3 lane merge. Once the 4 phases of the project is completed, the goal is to calm traffic, increase safety, and create a more welcoming atmosphere for all. That does it for this edition of Mocs News. Thank you for joining us. Make sure to check out our website, mocsnews.com, to continue following the news throughout the week. And while you are there, make sure to follow us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Have a great spring break from all of us here at Mocs News.